Today is July 19th. The Yankees got swept out in Anaheim. The deadline is less than 2 weeks away. Buying, selling, let's do both. Welcome to Talkin' Yanks. Ba, 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 ba. All right, no music, because even the funny, sad music isn't warranted. Jake said it. We're beyond sad. How are you doing, Jake?
I don't know. James, BBD. Oh, good to see you guys. I don't know. My emotions weren't sad. I mean, it's not surprise. It's closer to anger. It's closer to Tommy Kahnle, which might get me a talking to on the bench. So I don't know. How are you doing?
I'm excited.
Yeah.
We get to start building the 2024 team today.
Right now, tonight.
We're doing it. So, yeah, I don't know. We're not burning. We can recap the series like very briefly. They set a record for most strikeouts in the series. Boone said that ain't going to cut it. And that's a hard agree with him on that there. They continue to play really sloppy defense. Did we have another balk score a run? Or just a balk move a runner over? Do we have another catcher's interference? We had something like that. We had more bad base running.
Yeah, runner.
Like as bad as a base running as you can. Rodon didn't pitch well. Rodon blew a kiss at a fan. And Tommy Kahnle beat up a fan. And some errors.
An air blowing fan, just to clarify if someone didn't watch.
Yeah. A fan of Kahnle as well. Pass ball scored a run or something like that. And just like very sloppy, like really sloppy baseball, and also no offense. Game 2, I sat and I watched, and I don't remember a thing. I know Herman pitched, and like it was maybe the most nothing game of the season.
Yeah, today's game was quite the crescendo. The Yankees walked unlimited batters on the mound, including Ohtani 4 times, which that's a lot to walk a guy that you intentionally walk and then you don't think about intentionally walking. And then the Yankees struck out against Chase Silseth, who just got called up from AAA, Salt Lake City, your bees, Jimmy. And the Yankees looked like they hadn't seen a curveball before, which I thought that was interesting. And yeah, man, the other thing that's in my head that I think is actually good information by me, the Yankees' biggest run scoring moment of this series, my guy Oswaldo Cabrera shot a ball into the gap the other way. One of the worst pitches I've seen thrown on the season. It's our guy, Jimmy Herget, who visited the office.
Hey, he's a friend.
Oh, yeah, I DM'd him after the game. I said, inherited runners. Thanks, man. He laughed. But if people will remember, the pitch before that, the 0-1 pitch, was a slider that Oswaldo swung at and hit him in the leg, which now we've seen that in back-to-back series. A Yankee player swings through a pitch that hits them. So an 0-2 pitch after a guy just swung at a pitch that hit him, he shouldn't have thrown it anywhere near the plate, and he threw it right down the middle, and Oswaldo slapped it the other way.
Well, what I think Jimmy Herget maybe was doing was saying, oh, he thinks that's the strike zone, so if I go a little outside of that pitch that hit him in the leg, he'll probably just takes it for strike 3. So Oswaldo kind of rope-a-doped him by the leg swing.
Well, I tweeted about it. I think in a normal series or normal times, I would point that out and be like, holy smokes. I'd beg for anyone to hit mistakes right now. So I've got no qualms with it. But yeah, the bad base running was there. I guess was the defense atrocious? I know, Volpe threw one away today trying to make a play, but at least that was a guy trying to make a play. I don't know, man. It's some of the most nothing baseball we've ever seen. And shout out, I don't know if it was Quags at Yes or who was doing the stats, but the rolling stat line that was under Boone during the post-game interview was hilarious.
Oh, what was it? I missed it.
I mean, they were all just so bad. It was like when the Yankees score 3 runs or less, they're 9-35 this year. The Yankees without Judge are 15-22. The Yankees are, what are they? They've lost 7 of their last 9.
9 of 11 right now.
9 of 11. So yeah, it was just a rolling comedy show. And then we Jack Curry noted we got some new lines out of Boob that were like, this team stinks. What was the other one?
First he said we're not a good team right now. We acknowledge that, and then later on he said, "Yeah, we stink right now."
Yeah.
Step further,
right?
We also, I mean, and I think the base of this. Let's talk about Rodon blowing a kiss to the fan because they made a bigger deal of it in the postgame than I anticipated. So I guess I'll get your opinion on it. But Booney said, "I don't want him to do that." Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, for me, it's a big old case of pitch better and nobody cares. Like,
pitch better and I like it.
Right, like that's the thing. If you're pitching good, that's cool. If you're pitching bad, that sucks. So, end of the day, if there's something on that level, it doesn't matter.
What if the fan that he was blowing a kiss to yelled to him like, "Kiss my ass, Rodon"? Then he blew him a kiss.
That's what I'm saying. And I mean,
Jason Zillow, I can do your job for you.
I don't think we even have confirmation that it was a heckler. Like, what if it was like his cousin in the crowd and he was just blowing him a kiss?
Well, he did say he regrets it, or that it was the best thing he could have done in the moment.
Would like to see the worst then, if I'm being honest.
What Boone did too. Boone was like, "Well, it's better than other stuff." I'm like, "Oh my god."
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. Pitch better, dude. That's kind of all Yankee fans really care about.
Well, I mean, but Rodon kind of encapsulates the whole issue with having faith in the second half of the season. Like, Judge might not come back and be exactly who he is. Rodon's in his 3rd start. He's struggling with command. He's been like, he had a quick rehab against minor leaguers, didn't have a spring training. Like, this is, if the Yankees were winning right now, Rodon's situation would be like, yeah, he needs some time. He just got back. But the problem is you dug such a big hole. You have no time. Everyone needs to join and perform. And that goes to the whole lineup. The whole lineup needs to snap fingers and perform. This is just not going to happen.
Well, and that's where, I don't know. I mean, for Rodon, it almost felt like he joined the team this start. Like it felt like Colorado was his last like rehab. Okay. And this start felt like, oh yeah, you're on the bus with us, man. This stinks.
And I said there were bad dugout shots in the Rocky series, or the shots today. And good for Yes Network, because one, Coney was giving it to him real bad. It was a little nuanced and friendly for the ears, but if you were really listening to what Coney was saying, it was like all of Yankee fans, like angry Yankee fan. He was putting angry Yankees Twitter into niceties in the broadcast, but I mean, he was on them for like discipline, lack of hitting. It's not just like Judge going out shouldn't make everyone else terrible. Like, they were really, really digging in on the broadcast today. And Yes was showing those long shots of the dugout just looking beat.
Because they are. And I mean, Kay and Cone were pretty calculated. I mean, the Franchy Cordero base running, which Boone in his presser, one of my least favorite lines, he's like, that's a tricky play. That's a tricky read. The ball's in front of you, Pop. Like Michael Kay said, my 8-year-old son knows that. Like, so that's where there's a couple things whereas we're watching this blanket like rip apart in front of us where the threads are just getting unpulled. One of the things Boone said that I would have liked if I believed in it was he was like, they were talking about Canely punching the fan, and Boone's kind of said like, you need to be authentic, like be true to yourself. Some guys are, I used to throw my helmet. If you're not that guy, don't do it. Be authentic. You've neutered every player in the org.
And
Be
no and
authentic.
no one's authentic.
Remember who Josh Donaldson was before he came to the team? Now you don't let him play on his phone. Like, be authentic. You guys threw that out the window years ago. So that was my number one. Get out of here.
Well, I understand what he's saying. Like, if you throw your helmet or you beat up a water cooler, if that's who you truly are in nature and that's how you like release, just stepping away. Like, I do agree with what he's saying, but I also fully agree with what you're saying.
In theory,
yeah,
yes, but the organization hasn't acted on that since Girardi.
And Girardi got fired, and then he had to go get another job. So he used LinkedIn, and the Phillies saw him on LinkedIn and said, "You're hired." And if you want to do the same thing, you can get LinkedIn as well, because LinkedIn Jobs helps find the right people for your team faster or for free. Phillies might have used it to get Joe. That's all I know.
And then I think the Cubs used it to hire Girardi. I think he's calling some games over there. So LinkedIn can get you some pretty nice gigs.
Yeah. Some of our employees recently changed their banner on LinkedIn, and they're super excited about that. These days, every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. You want to be 100% certain that you have access to the best qualified candidates available? That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/Yanks. That's linkedin.com/Yanks to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
I love LinkedIn. You guys can still add me. I accepted a bunch of requests the other day.
Hell yeah. All right. So the big topic, is there anything else from the series you want to recap, and then we need to?
No, I mean the final two games almost didn't exist really. That we kind of covered the first game with Booney, so. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, every facet of the game is bad, and I do almost think they threw Franchy fastballs so he would get hits, so the Yankees would play him more. The biggest case of Avarex I've ever seen.
Oh, I was going to say, Franchy's running mistake, boom. Like, Franchy Cordero is not a key guy to this team. Like, if you ever wanted to be like, that's a mistake, we can't have that. That's all. That's I don't like that's we're way better than that at this level. Like, it's Franchy Cordero, the guy. I'm not saying anything about him personally, but I understand Boone protecting other guys. Who was Guzman? Remember last year, Guzman didn't run down the line. They didn't play him again.
Yeah,
Think that game was that 0 for 5, 4 Ks in that double play where he just didn't run.
Jake and I were at that game. It was against the Angels.
They're still.
No, it was against the Twins.
But Guzman was like a day and a half. Like, Franchy Cordero is back.
I think Guzman was 1 day, and they did that.
That was his only day on the roster.
He did that, and they were just like, "You're fucking out."
Like Franchy Cordero has now rode the bus 3 times, and I think he's the worst breaking ball hitter I've seen at the major league level.
Yeah, maybe. Trying to think. I was racking my head. But Betances in that one at bat was awful.
Similar.
Well, all right. So an article came out by Ken Rosenthal, who I trust and enjoy and all of that. And then Brendan Cuddy from The Athletic doubled down on it about the Yankees. It was kind of interesting because it was more than just like the Yankees retooling. It was the Yankees at this state will try to buy and sell to stay competitive, but get under the luxury tax this year, which they're only like 1 point something over the threshold they want to get under. So it's not crazy, which made me go, and I posted a video about this, made me go look at the 2016 deadline. I wanted to just, when they traded Chapman, where were they at in the standings? What did it look like? And they were 4.5 games out of the wild card, the last wild card spot. So it doesn't really matter 2 teams or 3 teams, like just the last wild card spot. They're 4.5 games out. I believe the Yankees now are 4 games out with Houston winning today. The wild card.
Can bring it up. I thought it was closer than that, but let's see.
2.5. 3.5.
I have 3.5 on
Three. So three and a
ESPN.com
half. Yeah.
at the time of recording.
So they're 4.5 in 2016 when they retooled sold. They were 3.5 now. We do have 2 more weeks to go into the deadline, so they could get worse. And they were like 7.5 out of the division. They're 9 or 10 out of the division right now. They were in 4th place then. They're in 5th place now. That all is very similar. I don't know what their record was. That is similar. The only difference is they were really ready to transition to the youth movement, and they had a bunch of aging guys in McCann and Beltran that they wanted. They were fine with parting with. Miller was a 1.5 years, and Chapman was a rental, and that was admitting defeat on the season.
I think Miller might have been even more. I think he was 2.5.
Yeah, I think he was 2.5.
2.5.
So I got such a big return.
So the Miller, that was it was. They call it a retooling. It was really a whatever you call it, tanking. What? Selling?
Rebuilding?
I don't know. Rebuilding. Yeah, it was because it was rebuilding. This would have to be a retooling because you still have Judge, you still have Cole, you still have Rodon, you still have like a core group of players you're trying to win with. And I think it's interesting the money aspect, like trying to get under that luxury tax. So I think it's a fun exercise for you and I to, what does this look like and what's it worth?
Yeah. No, I'm obviously into it, and I think you mentioned the tax thing. I think that obviously makes a lot of sense. If I was the owner of this team and this was the performance I was getting, I would say let's shave $1.5 million, which you could probably do pretty easily. I mean, whether that's a player or just, salary itself has a certain cost, whether prospect level or whatever it is. So that seems very feasible. I do
not really
think
how being
like
cheap.
Yeah, no, I think it's reasonable. It's just good business, and probably smart. And I do think they're going to retool. I think the part that's devastating and coming off of playing the Angels were actually in a worse funk than the Yankees. The Angels, I think they had lost 12 of 15 or maybe 12 of 14. They had really sunk their ship, and they had a bunch of injuries. So what they did is they traded for Eddie Escobar. They traded for Mike Moustakas. And it wasn't an instant fix, but it became part of the fix. That it's just incredibly frustrating that the Yankees have rolled without a left fielder for 2 years, amongst other things, and other spots in this lineup when you needed help. And if you didn't get it to this point, maybe we could have talked Cody Bellingers or we could have talked True Rentals, but that's out the window unless you have a miraculous 10 games, which no fan that just watched this team play baseball this past week, that has watched this team since Judge went down, can possibly believe in that happening.
Yeah. Because every aspect of it has to get better. Like every aspect of the team. And that's not even, the offense has to like be alive. Like if the offense was a bug and you were looking at it with your coworkers, someone would say, is it dead?
Right.
And then another person would like kind of touch it with a piece of paper and it would like wiggle around and be like, no, it's alive. That's the Yankees offense.
But it would be one of those wiggles where you're like, ooh, that might have been a dead wiggle. Like that.
Oh, it's dying.
Yeah. Like that. I wouldn't say that bug's alive. Yeah, I'm interested to see, the next series, funny enough, is against the Kansas City Royals, who are Oakland A's level this year.
If they don't sweep or win the series against the Royals, it's sell.
Yeah.
That could be like a definitive stamp.
Yeah, I guess the only other thing I want to put out there before we do this exercise is, sell. I'm not necessarily fighting against it, but if you're a Yankee fan and you get in the weeds, or if you don't and you're just looking to kill time and be sad, I think it's funny. The Yankees and us are going to have hopes for next year. Like, we're the New York Yankees. Like, Garrett Cole is in his prime. Aaron Judge is in his prime. Like, we got to figure it out and go. I do think, I don't know, the Yankees and their true expiring contracts is like comical. If you go to the page, it's Josh Donaldson will be expiring. Luis Severino, who's been in the worst funk of his career, is expiring. Frankie Montas, having a good year for the Yanks. And then there is Bader, who left this game with an injury. And then there's Wandy, who also kind of hasn't been at the peak of his powers. All of his numbers are down from last year. So when you get in that 1.5 year range, I know Clay and Glaber come into play a little more, which is interesting. But the Yankees really don't have a ton to sell.
Well, but you're not expecting huge returns. You're just shedding payroll and setting yourself up better for next year.
Yeah, I think even in Glaber's case, we know the Yankees have been trying to trade him for 1.5 years. That I don't.
Yeah, but I think even if anyone takes Glaber and you get prospects back, then they put Oswald Peraza at second base for the remainder of the year, see what they have there, and they just got under the tax. Like, that move alone gets them under that tax they want to get under.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's obviously what are they getting back and what does that put them in position for next year? So
nothing. I think they're trying to get relief on tax and just like changing up the vibe.
Right, but it's $1.5 million. I think the Yankees, who are way too proud sometimes, to get under that $1.5 million, there's a lot of other ways to get there besides finally punting Glaber for prospects.
Yeah, they could also try to get under like the next one, which is $20 million, which they could do by packaging like a big, like just trading Wandy, Canely. People would trade for Canely. I think people would trade for Wandy, and I think people would trade for Clay. Bader just got a posterius did I say that right? Rib contusion.
Yeah.
And even IKF, if someone just wanted a guy on the bench that can play every position because you're about to go on a playoff run, like the Yankees trading for Adoni Echeverria in 2017. Like, those guys get moved.
Oh, yeah. I don't think you could get to the 20 mil with those guys, but getting under that 1.5, super easy.
Yeah, well, the all one I just named is 19 if you get rid of all the guys I just named.
Right. But I think other teams don't even want some of those guys. And I don't know.
If the Yankees' intention is to get under the tax, they wouldn't care about other returns. Then they would just use the money they saved there and the tax there to go have a free.
Right, but I think that's ignoring how proud the Yankees are. That for the Yankees to trade away all of those guys, that's admitting complete failure for 7 guys on their roster. Like when they can make one move to get under $1.5 million, like I think that's a lot more.
Yeah, but they're also going to bring people in. Like they're going to do like when they traded Chapman and Miller, they brought in Tyler Clippard and I'm blanking some other reliever, and they were like they replaced those guys.
Right. Innings wise, you got to replace those guys.
But then the end of the 2016 season was fun. Gary was going off. The kids were playing. And in 2017, Didi and crew said the way we ended 2016, we knew we were going to have a big team, even though everyone else didn't have it because they just rode off on a high. So even if you're not making don't just ride out this team and miss the playoffs by 3 spots or make the wild card and lose in the first game and not change the energy.
Yeah, I wonder if it's something more significant, kind of like Miracle Made, Jimmy. Sleep quality, your sheets. It's what's important, and we just got sent these.
Yes, I have them on my bed.
I also have the Miracle Made sheets on my bed. They've got a cleaning design for your skin, kills 99% of bacteria, and it's luxurious and comfort quality with the Miracle Sheets without the high price tags of some of those luxury brands. So what you can do, go to trymiracle.com/Yanks to try Miracle Made Sheets today. And whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, if you order today, you can save 40% off and use promo code Yanks at checkout. Yanks at checkout, and you'll get 3 free towels. Boom. So, hey, let's be honest. We got a lot of fellas out there that listen to this. You need new sheets and you need new towels. I know.
And wash them more, because the study says that like kids 18 to 25 only wash their sheets. Hey, BBD, how often do you wash your sheets?
Sheets are on like an every other week basis, which unfortunately I think is pretty good for my age group.
Yeah. It said it was like 4 to 6 times a year.
Trymiracle.com/Yanks. Save 40%. Get some sheets, get some towels. Click the link.
Katie washes our sheets so off. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes the amount like towels, and she puts them in my laundry basket and just ruins the whole feng shui of the basket. She
doesn't want to clog up hers.
Yeah.
Before you move on, just on the subject of the luxury tax, I think just one frustrating thing about that is that 1.5 number that they'd be getting under. I think the only penalties they have left at that threshold are like monetarily based, so they'd kind of just be saving themselves luxury tax money. They've already had the draft pick affected, and
the draft pick would have to be the 20 million.
20 million,
but the money then you can go re-spend.
I'm sure that's what they'll do.
Yeah, I mean it's strictly Hal's bookkeeping, but I'm Team Hal on that one because
Hal spends money. Like the roster construction and what the money got spent on is the main issue. So like people are going to see that headline and be like, "Hal's cheap," but like no, it spends a ton of money, gives cash a ton. It's just the team they put together has been
the luxury tax nerds that'll be in the comments will be mad if we didn't mention that. So
for me, I guess I wonder what the true big move is. Will they finally move on Glaber? Because we know they've tried to do that in the past, and we've had infielders. I wonder if daydreaming on the couch, every offseason we do the same thing on Stanton. We're like, hey, Stanton's kind of cool, but he also kind of ruins our roster. And he's one of the actual guys who is starting to show signs of life again. That I wonder if a GM's job is to talk to every team and have everything on the table. I wonder if there's anything even out there with that.
That'd be pretty big. I don't know. That's kind of crazy, especially at the deadline to take on 4 years of a guy that can only play DH or plays outfield very funnily.
Right.
And the no trade and all that. But
I think the pitchers are where they're going to get success. If someone wants to grab Sevy as a 6-man rotation in the pennant race, that's a move guys do. Like, he might not be in the playoff rotation, but this guy's going to help us, and then we can put him in the bullpen. The Yankees used to do that when they would make trades at the deadline a lot. Herman is a good trade piece. If teams want the kids, Randy and Brito, you could do that, but that's kind of, it goes against the new thought of there might be part of the future more than you would do that if you were trying to help the now, which I don't think they're really doing. But Herman, I think, is a good piece that they would part with. Canely, teams would pick up Canely right now. Same with Clay. Same with Wandy, I think.
Yeah, I have all the bullpen guys in play. It's your one team skill is tapping into guys in the bullpen. 2, it checks a Cashman box of value. We got Clay Holmes for nothing, and that's someone you could get actual value to when you're talking the Chapman trade or you're talking Andrew Miller. Clay Holmes would kind of be in that range, right? It's less than Andrew Miller. He was amazing when the Yankees traded him with years. But for Clay Holmes, a guy that you got for nothing, it changes your bullpen pecking order, but you'd have to if you can get an actual return for him, because I think you can get an actual return for him. And it's the bullpen. Like one of the other perks of being the Yankees is they can afford to pay for a guy in the bullpen if they need to. There's other teams that don't even have that option on their table. I've given that speech on Talkin Yanks a few times that I think the bullpen arms are very much in play. Clay Holmes is the one that I think would move the needle. And I think as a fan base, I think the Yankees would be shocked to hear this. Like, the Yankees fan base wants us to trade Clay Holmes. I think what would actually come back would juice us up for next year and the coming years.
Oh, I don't know about that. I mean, it's just going to be a prospect.
Right, but real prospects. Like, even Justice Sheffield helped turn into James Paxton. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, Wandy Peralta right now is not at the peak of his powers, and he's final year of his contract. That it gets you maybe a top 30 prospect or something, which in the Yankees farm system just absolutely goes to die. That I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really care about return from prospects right now. It's a crapshoot. If they work out, they work out, but I would expect them not to. The only thing is, if you're not buying, then you should shed what you don't need anymore. Get lighter and ready to move forward better. Like, just hanging on to these guys and letting them expire isn't. If another team will just grab them and give you anything for them, well, anything is better than just staying pat because it's a chance at improving. So I'm not looking for a big return at all. I
guess I disagree on Wandy, because Wandy could give you 2 good months, and if the offense ever figured it out, to get nothing back for him, that would be a bad feeling. That would be a bad feeling if somehow the offense did click and started to do something. And
I mean, we already said it's that dying bug on the ground.
Yeah, I've seen those bugs come to life. I've eaten those bugs.
So you still have 1% of hope.
I mean, it is baseball at the end of the day. Like, Judge is supposed to come back. Yeah. You don't think Judge is coming back?
I mean, I don't think it helps. I think the team is very, very bad.
Yeah, I mean, we did this before Judge came back, and they gave us the 2 weeks of hope. So, yeah, I have hope in Judge.
I mean, I believe in Judge. I don't believe that he can carry the team to win
from the hole they're in.
CS.
I mean, he kind of did it last September.
Yeah, I mean, they were good. They had other players that were hitting well last year.
Yeah, I mean, you obviously need everything to change. We don't need to say that anymore, but Judge is the focal point of it.
If everyone else is playing like this, yeah, Judge by himself isn't enough. But
yeah, I'm surprised. I didn't know you still thought they could win the World Series.
I didn't say that.
So you just mean getting the playoffs?
There's steps, man. We give out a stepping stone award on this show. We're going to climb 8 stepping stones to get to the point where there'd be any hope. But, they could go on a homestand and go 6-1. Like, that is baseball. That it would change our perspective in what's one of the most two important weeks of the season. I don't believe in it.
But you would. I'm trying to gauge how far you think they can go, because you would make trades to get into the wild card.
I would hope if we added, say, a major league rental outfielder that cost us nothing. If you look at the 21 Atlanta Braves, they traded for 4 major league outfielders that cost them nothing, and it gave them a shot. And hey, they're the outlier. I'm not saying the Yankees show any sign of life on that, but I've been begging for a major league outfielder for 1.5 years. So I would love to see that. Yes. Because if we're going to trade Wandy Peralta away for nothing, then no, I don't see the value in that.
Well, it's for a crapshoot for some high A dudes.
Hope you unlock.
Maybe turn into.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if Wandy gets you a crapshoot.
Yeah, I think he does.
He might, and then I'm not necessarily against it, but he also might not.
Yeah, I don't think this team can win the divisional series. I don't think they could get good enough to do that.
We think Judge can come back and be good. We agree on that.
Well, I think it might be a little bit. Like he might have 3 weeks of St. Judge because he got a pretty bad injury. He's going to be rushed.
Good. I think you've been smelling the Judge signs that he's making a show of it. He was running the bases hard today. Like I think Judge will be here in less than 3 weeks. I could be wrong. Nobody knows. Not even Aaron Judge.
No, I'm saying it'll be 3 weeks when he returns to where we get like Judge. Like he's going to go through like a spring training and getting back in the groove of things phase. Like
maybe. I mean, also maybe not. I mean,
we're giving our opinions.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like there's a range in this. It's baseball. Like to say that I don't know. This team has obviously given us nothing without Aaron Judge. So if Judge comes back, I'm going to have some signs of hope that a lot of other things will change around him too. That Rizzo looks like the player he was his whole career, missing his buddy. You obviously need a lot to turn around, but that has happened in baseball before. I don't see it happening with this team, but you're not doing a full sell. So if you're not doing that, I'd rather have some hapless fight to us.
I'd trade everyone that's got a year or a year and 2 years left. We could.
Okay, but again, we went through that list. It's not extravagant.
But that's a full sell for what they have in shop.
I guess I think we're saying I think there's 80% overlap on this one. Like if there's a Glaber trade to be had, I would do it. I think you could bring in some MLB lottery ticket guys a la the Braves did with a Jorge Soler who was slumping, with an Eddie Rosario who was slumping, with Adam Duvall, with Jock Peterson, that like shake it up with low risk because you're not fully punting.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't. I just trade everyone and look at next year. That's what I would do.
Okay.
Anything else around that? I don't know.
No, I mean, be brave like the Braves.
Who's out there? Who's the crap? Would that be like Ramon Laureano, like those outfielders that the Braves got? Like who's the equivalent now? Because we kind of made our pie chart, but all of those guys are having decent seasons and value. Like they went out and got Rosario and Soler.
I guess Laureano's close to that list. I'd have to scour the league a little bit. Like Jesse Winker, like you could probably get him for free. He's been bad. A guy that used to be good.
If the Cardinals are into some of the Yankees pitchers, I do think Carlson fits the bill here of like he's cheaper than other options.
He's got years. He's cheaper than other options, and you're banking on his upside in the future. And the Cardinals like, Brito or Vasquez or fucking Severino. They're not going to take Severino. Sorry, not going to take a rental. Right. Then like that is one of the guys in our pie chart that still kind of fits. Yeah. No, and I think again going back to the phrase retool, I think anything amongst that is on the table. Like the Yankees, as you've noted, the pitching is technically their depth. Randy Vasquez and Johnny Brito showed signs of life this year. I think it'll be interesting because if there's any market for Sevy, which I don't know if there is, then you have those guys to potentially replace him. Are they going to tap into one of those guys as their piece, or Herman, like you mentioned, has some value right now? I don't know.
Oh yeah, and you get Herman for next year too.
Right, and that's
he's a guy that they should be going to see.
I mean, it's just one of those tricky things that it feels like we've been saying that for a bunch of years now.
But
now it's true. He's back. He's in rhythm.
Throws the perfect game this year. His problems or his mistakes are, 4 years ago now or whatever it is. So, yeah, I mean, it feels like they're going to trade from some of their pitching depth, and it's just what level does that get them, major league or minor league?
I don't know, but anything Anything is better than nothing.
Amen. We agree.
Hunter Renfroe, he's having a decent year. Same with Canna. Those count as like the
And did we just
Braves
bring
type?
the Angels out of sell mode?
I think
yeah,
a Canna. Yeah, I think Renfro's out. I think a Canna like could be in play depending again what's that price tag look like. I don't know. I know the Mets have a depth at corner outfield.
Not high because he's a rental.
Right, and he's Mark Canna. So that again, we're spinning our tires a little bit on value because any trade you want to do it with the right value. But if it's
it all depends.
If it's a prospect that's not going to hurt us, and there's often a lot of prospects don't hurt us, that gives you 2 months at Mark Canna. Like at this point, I wish you did it at the start of the season, but I don't know.
Do you think Mark Canna drinks a lot of AG1?
I actually would. He's kind of like a healthy guy. He's kind of hip.
He probably does. He's skinny and he looks like my friend David a little bit. And David definitely probably likes AG1.
I could see that.
Cares about his body and recovering after workouts. And even when you need a boost, and it's so much more than greens. It's all your key health products in one. Set yourself up for success with 75 high quality ingredients that give you key daily nutrients and long-term gut health support. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then AG1 is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free triple packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/Yanks. That's drinkag1.com/Yanks. So, anything else? Beebs, how was your day?
Day was good. Weird day to be in this outfit. Vibes around the Yankees stink. And
you know what I'd love for the next headline to be? John Casey quits. How good would that be?
Wasn't for me, man.
I want the go.
Wasn't for me.
I'm glad I did the one road trip. Happy to see what I did, but I'm gonna beyond help.
We had fun. The work was paying off, but our guy's got to be doing circles right now. Dylan Lawson.
Dylan Lawson, he's mad.
I think he's stoked.
Maybe he's on a beach somewhere.
If I was him, I'd be like, wow, yeah, you guys figured it out. It was me. How far away were they from hitting that curveball?
They're really bad, man.
Like I've almost never seen that. I've seen it for a game. I haven't seen it for a month.
How many of this current Yankees team, what are their stats at, would start on other teams? None?
A good chunk.
I mean, like
Glaber would start on a lot of teams.
Yeah, I think Glaber's gonna get traded.
Kind of one of the only guys with real value.
It's funny that Rizzo's stats on the year aren't awful, but he's been one of the worst players in baseball for a month and a half.
I mean, Volpe's numbers are awful.
Oh yeah, I mean we haven't done this in a while. Like I know Peraza already cooled down before he heated up, but like
0 for 8 with the 8 Ks or whatever it is.
Damn, yeah, 0 for 9, 8 Ks, I think.
Jesus.
Yeah. No,
that's what I'm like. They're not below. Like I wonder if we looked at that 2016 team. Like and if you look at the Braves team and you look at the Nationals team and you look at the Phillies team, all the ones that everyone's mentioning, they had a core group of 3 to 4 guys having good years.
Well, I mean, they had
like a glaring weakness.
The Yankee, well, that's the whole point of it. The Yankees, well, they're horrible base running, which I don't know what that's about. But they haven't been able to hit. They haven't been able to hit since last year. They haven't hit in any postseason. It's been the hitting that if Judge came back, a Rizzo sobered up. It's, they talked about it a lot on the broadcast. It's Rizzo, Stanton, and DJ. Like, you need for all of those guys to go duds the rest of the way. Yeah, dude, you can't. That's supposed to be the heart of your team.
Yeah. That's bad. Okay. In 2016, when they traded, at that point, the lineup, just doing OBP, because that's what the Yankees are supposed to be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 OBP started with 3-2, 320 or higher. This Yankees team, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Worst on base team in Yankees history.
They're just like beyond redeemable at this point in the season. We're almost 2/3 of the way through. Like, no one's going to end up with no one's regular season stat line is redeemable.
Rizzo's is, but it's the worst product we've seen.
Yeah. The rest, you got to chalk it up to like, well, it's hot at the end.
They haven't been.
Calhoun's coming back though.
Greg
what was the record
Allen
when
rehab?
what was the record when Jake Bauer was playing? That was the best times all year. That's what we're going to remember about the 2023 season. Like, remember Bauer? That was fun. Chase after those balls, catch them or not.
Yeah, I even think Bowers didn't overlap with the Judge Bader times perfectly. Let's see.
24
Bowers,
and 25 in games Bowers participated in. That includes late subs, but
what was it? 20 and 25?
24 and 25.
Shit.
Let's see. My guy
21 and 20 in games he started.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Beautiful.
So, where is Bowers? What happened to him?
Shoulder.
Huh. The Yankees in games Aaron Judge plays or starts 30 and 19.
Other guys were hitting. I mean, I guess I know he provides protection and all that stuff, but like,
yeah. You need any sort of help from elsewhere.
And if Judge brings the offense from like a 2 out of 10 to a 5.5 out of 10, well, then you still got to fix the base running and the half the starting rotation and the bullpen.
Yep.
And if you want to go see these Yankees,
yes,
or maybe you want to check out someone else or a concert. But you
or
can see
concert,
go to a concert.
Go to the ballet, the fucking ballet. SeatGeek's got you. And you can get $20 off your first purchase with code YANKS. $20 off first SeatGeek order. Do they play tomorrow?
Off tomorrow.
Off day. Royals Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
How about it?
Yep. And then off day, Mets, off day.
When are those Mets games?
Tuesday, Wednesday.
Are they at Yankee Stadium or they're Yankee Stadium?
Yes.
I might be going to some of those because I'm free.
Whew.
Katie will be down the shore. And I'll be up. I'm gonna say something else. I forget. One really nice thing. Not nice. Actually, not nice at all. I like when the opposite of this happens, but it is interesting. It is interesting. I haven't. I've been turning the game on at 7:00 or the pregame show, and when they put the graphic of the lineup, that's my first time seeing it.
Yeah,
and that hasn't happened since we started doing this podcast. We're like, you're like, oh, okay, that's what we got. And that's
there's also, you're some paternity stuff and you're on your way back. Like At the office, it's been a scene when the lineup drops, just because there's some oohs and ahs with it. So saw it today.
Franchy added 6th today.
Yeah. When the lineup came out today, someone yelled, Volpe 5. And it was like, holy crap.
I don't even think I processed the lineup today. I didn't know Volpe was 5. What was the lineup today?
Let's see. Let's see if we could do this, Beebs.
Yeah, I have it in front of me, so I'll
Oswald 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Glaber 2.
Yep.
Stanton
3.
Stanton 3.
Mm-hmm.
Rizzo?
God.
Not Rizzo.
No, he didn't.
He got
didn't play today.
Double off day
yeah.
for him.
Duh. He's hurt.
DJ 4.
DJ 4.
Volpe 5.
Volpe 5.
Franchy 6.
Franchy 6.
Aswaldo?
Not as
Oswaldo was 9.
He was 9.
Higgy 8. Bader
Higgy
7.
Yes.
Bong.
Nailed it.
Talkin Yanks post-game show.
I did watch the game. I was texting, watching, but I just haven't been inputting it the same way, man. Especially when halfway through the game they started losing and you and I were texting like, what's this show going to be out? Are we going to recap the game? I went more into like, what's a resell? What's a retold? And like, really like, I'm watching the game. It's on right now again, but I'm not like inputting it. I know that.
It's an awful product. It's one of the worst products I've ever seen on television.
Oh. What about The Nanny?
I enjoy The Nanny. You laugh a lot. You laugh a lot watching The Nanny. So I don't even think they're in the same realm.
Only when that kid's on screen.
No, Fran gets you too. And by the way, she's the head of the Actors Guild or whatever.
I thought it was Mr. Feeney.
Whatever actor strike is going on, Fran Drescher's like leading the way.
Writer strike.
Okay. The Yankees stink right now, per Aaron Boone.
Agree, Skip.
For the
last calendar year, though.
2 years.
A little more.
The first half of last year was good.
Yeah.
But after from All-Star break last year to this year, they're like 82 and 83.
82 and 80 was the stat going into today.
So 82 and 81.
And I think their bad times last year slightly predate the break, so you could probably go worse if you wanted.
They lost.
I mean, they had the 2 year stats too, and they're a couple games over 500 the past 2 years.
They wouldn't have made the playoffs in 2020, right?
Not under the previous.
I know it was
format.
60 games and it was fake anyway, but
Yeah.
I believe it was so expanded. They were like technically not good in those 60 games, right?
Yeah, they were.
Neither was Houston. 2020.
Houston was below 500.
That is, I was trying to be on the Dodgers side for a long time.
And everyone had to play that season, so
You had to, they won that season. That's it. But
the playoffs still happened.
the further
not
you get
0.
away, you're like, that season fucking stupid.
They'd love to have another one for a lot of reasons.
All right.
For the sake of
Sunday?
answering an earlier question you asked, because Stanton's played so few games this year, technically, if he went off the last 2 months, his numbers would be saved. But
do
Stanton,
it, do it, G. Do it. All right. Jack's wife Frida gave me this pen. Go
Thanks,
Yanks.
Frida.
Tell him Grams.
Go Yankees.
What could this pen be about? Jack's wife Frida. Is that a restaurant or something?
I don't know.
It's a weird pen. Jack's